So let's just kind of go over what's going on first, and then let me have you just go like right here, CJ, and then we'll go through this stuff. So I would say from down the line, right, how do you piece these things together? At the setup position, we set up with the pressure a little bit too far back in the heels.
Yep.
So the back of the armpits and the butt line, you can almost see like the toes up, like we saw. And always when you sit back, right, other than like one or two freak anomalies, when you're back on your heels, sort of max range of motion, your brain's always going to want to kick your hips in. And that kicking hips in and not having enough space on the way down is part of the piece that can kick the club head farther out, right? If I kick my hips forward, that obviously moves my club out, which would bring in the heel strikes. So I would get the pressure a little bit more on the balls of the feet, and we can neutralize whether we want to change distance away, our posture piece, etc. But the pressure more on the balls of the feet, so that my brain has no incentive to kick more forward with the hips. That'd be sort of part one from the setup. During the backswing, we note the hand path starts to go a little bit up, not quite in enough, in combination with the lack of overall torso rotation.
Yep.
So I call that like hip turn and rib cage turn. See, the more that I turn my body, the more my hands are going to work in, and the less I turn for me to get the arms and hands up, the butt of the club's going to go more vertical. So we have this hands not quite deep enough, and then we have to reroute it a little coming down, and that rerouting a little is that part where that shoulder gets a little internal, elbows get a little bit separated. And then as we start to come through, we can see it looks like the lead arm gets very bent here, and you don't have a ton of space. Better than it used to be.
Yeah.
But some of that's still happening, like when we draw the line on your head. Ideally, during the backswing, your head stays right on the line, right? Yeah. But we can see for you, you go down quite a bit with it going up. So the idea would be, let's set up with the pressure more on the balls of the feet, neutralize that. During the backswing, let's maintain our height. Instead of the, you're going to probably feel like you're lifting.
Yeah, okay.
You know, normally if you're going like, hey, let's say you go down 2 inches, just to stay normal, you'll probably feel like you're lifting. And what we'll do is we'll put that combination of your right side feeling like it's stretching out with the turning.
Okay.
So the goal would be, let's get the hand path working in a little deeper so that you don't have to go backwards. You can start to come out. And let's, in terms of your ball pattern, get really good with our start line. We'll get a stick out in front and get rid of one of those two misses. Yeah. Okay. Either the push miss or the little pull hook miss. Yeah? Let's take our setup piece. Hey guys, today's video is sponsored by our friends at Pinned Golf. In my hand here I have their new Ace rangefinders, the 3rd model that they've come out with, and it's the absolute best one yet. It's a features-packed golf rangefinder that offers everything from slope, a slope switch that makes it 100% tournament legal, a USB charger so you don't have to buy any of the weird batteries, a crystal clear HD LCD screen, tour level accuracy, and much more. Guys, you hear me talk all the time about feedback. You need video feedback when you're practicing. You need yardage feedback when you're playing. And the Pinned Golf Ace rangefinder to me is absolutely the best quality and price of a rangefinder that's on the market. I used to pay twice the amount for a rangefinder that worked no better than this one did, and it's something that I think is non-negotiable in all my students' hands. The Pinned rangefinder. Use promo code Cogorno, C-O-G-O-R-N-O, and save $25 off. We'll put the link down below. Okay, so this would be about where your pressure should be, right here. Okay. And so if you round over, now distance away from the ball wise for you, you feel closer, farther?
It's closer.
Yeah. So, and I actually think from here you look good.
Okay.
I like that, and I like that. A little more knee bend. Where do you feel like the weight is in your feet there?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a toe.
Feels
so
toes.
It's probably right.
It's perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're recording yourself, you know enough at this point where you'd be looking at this.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And getting that sort of basically on the front of your shoelaces.
Got it.
That's what we're looking for.
Okay.
So now this depth of your hips don't sit as far behind your ankles.
Got it.
So there should be no need for you to go in at all during your downswing.
Yeah.
That'd be part one.
Got it.
Now as we start to work back to the top of the backswing, in fact I'm going to grab a little aid out of my car here for us. I want to put something up here that'll be on the top of your head that I want you to stay on during your backswing. Bingo.
Okay.
Which for you should feel like this whole unit's extending and turning more than normal.
Yeah.
So I think for you, for your hand path depth to go deeper, it's going to be less about you feeling your hands working in and more about you turning your hands in,
Okay.
right? I think that's a lot of why when you go from practice to course that starts to fall away, is because you don't do the turning part.
Yeah.
So the pressure's in the balls of the feet.
Yep.
Good. You're going to feel like you stay tall on the way back. Yeah, perfect. And then this belt buckle for you should feel like it's pointed back towards, let's say, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Kind of like my coffee right there.
Got it. Okay.
So this hip is up and back. This whole right side feels turned. And that should be the piece that brings the hand path more in.
Yeah.
Let's do that one more time. Right there would be normal. Now I'm going to leave you go. You feel like you're going to push back here, so keep yourself up there. Good. So now show me one rehearsal. We're staying tall. Yeah, good. Beautiful. Good. Pressure in the balls of the feet. Taller way back. More turn. Good. And I think on a couple of these, that's probably what we're going to get. We'll do like 5 of them, where the ball's going to curve more left. And the reason the ball's going to curve more left in the short term is because when you go back, now we're going deeper with the turn and extension, but we're still having the hand path go behind us coming down. And so after we do a couple from here, we can start to turn that rib cage out, start to get the hand path working out in front of us to neutralize that downswing pattern. The majority of that tall part, right, the point being, should come from that trail leg extending, that hip working up and back. That's the first part.
Okay.
Yep. That last one was good. Let's do that same thing again. Everything else looks good there, dude. Check the pressure in balls of the feet. Yeah, good. Beautiful. Right, good. Extend up, turn and hand path. Good. So like from a timing perspective, I want these things to happen from 0 to 100 all the way from the setup all the way to the top. What you have a tendency to do is do it really good for about 80% and then stop before you start down. Like remember we look at your trail leg and be like, you need to keep extending your trail leg all the way to the top. Sometimes what you will do is you'll do it pretty good to here, and then remember how that leg would like start to reflex.
Okay.
So, and it's not that in particular today, it's just the point being like as you're feeling tall, as you're feeling turn with the belt buckle, as you're feeling like the hands going up in this way, keep doing those a little longer than you think you should for more period of time will help. So what I would expect to happen here in the beginning is like, we're in part 1 of like a 2-part thing here, right? Which is change the setup and change the backswing. Take your setup for me for a second. Change the setup and change the backswing so we can change the downswing. Now we see pretty much right away, when we push your pressure more forward and get your armpits over the balls of your feet, when we draw the line down the back of your butt now, you maintain that line pretty darn good. Your hips aren't really kicking in towards the ball. So that pretty much changes that piece right away. Then we said, hey, why don't we get the hand path working in more on the way back so that you don't have to reroute it in transition, get it behind you. And so we're doing that from turning, feeling the belt buckle back behind you and the hand path working in, and we're feeling that going up and back a little longer than you think. Now we have the butt of the club closer to the heel line, and now you've got freedom to do the same thing you did going back, coming down, which is you got it deep by turn, so you get it back out by turn, right? So you turned your belt buckle back, and you're turning all this rib cage and everything to get the hands back. We had to do the same thing coming down to get them out. Now that didn't boom on swing 1, change it, which means we might need to go in there and do something for that. But you getting to the point where you can get up that far and sort of max that out and maintaining the height, right? Like when I go down 3 inches from there, then I'm gonna have no room. If I can maintain where I'm at, I can go down a little bit in transition, we can get the turning pieces. So the turn and the depth part and the setup and the balls of feet puts us in a position where the only thing you should have to do after this is, hey, where's that butt of the club on the way down? Is it still going back? Is it still going out? And then how do I neutralize that? But what this should do to our ball pattern is exactly what it is doing. Now it's a double whammy. Now, before we would go out and under to semi-neutral, and now we're going in and under, too far under, all the balls drawing, that's okay. Let's keep going in, and then we'll neutralize that when we come down. So let's do one more with that club. Do you have any questions on those pieces, like what we're looking for?
No, I get it.
So like with your live view, it's, you want to draw a line from the back of the armpit down to the ball of the foot.
Yep.
You want to draw a line on the top of your head and stay on that.
Yep.
And then on the way back, when you're turning, you want to get the butt of the club close to that heel line.
Yeah, I get that.
Yep. But doing it through the turning.
Yep.
Trail leg extends, belt buckle turns. That's it. Go that much and go a little longer than you think, for a little longer period of time. Yep. So keep doing it for another like half a second longer than you think. Yeah, dude. Awesome.